with that, some fundamental problem with play to earns that we need to acknowledge and to talk about in order to find a solution for those. For us, from our perspective, there are three problems that we see, in most of the play to game, most of the existing play to earn games that currently on the market. So those problems, first is that the lack of sustainability, right? So all the play to earn games that existing right now at the moment, the game design, they still reusing the traditional game design. So which mean the in-game economy is inflationary by design, right? So no matter how many players in the game, as long as you get past a certain level, as long as you've done a certain quest or whatever, you will get the same amount of tokens, of reward tokens. Which means the more player join that game, then the more the higher number of circulating tokens going to be within the system. That's why it's making it really hard for the price of those tokens to recover, right? And that traditional game design is work for traditional game, but for play to earn games is not good. It's not going to work, because when we think about the motivation of the play to earn audience, most of them are financially motivated, right? Because it's a play to earn game. They play to earn. So that's why using an inflationary in-game economy design is not a good choice, right? So we need a new approach to our game economy design in order to make it sustainable. That's the first problem. And the second problem that we see is that the lack of decentralization, right? So even though most of the game you guys see right now on the market, actually, even like the flagship title such as Axie Infinity, it is still a decentralized game, right? The only thing different from Axie Infinity and traditional game is that they have a token that you can like collect and like transfer back to your wallet, and that is the only different things. But everything else, the entire game, they still have a centralized server. They still use centralized technologies. So and centralized technology is work, but for blockchain's game and for play to earn, we think that is going to make it really difficult for investors and players to believe in the long-term prospect of those projects. Because I'm not sure you're very aware, but games tend to have really short life cycle, even for AAA games, right? Even for the latest one of the best game that I played recently, which is Elden Ring, after a few months, not many people want to talk about it anymore, right? So using centralized technology and try to make the game that similar to traditional game, it's just make it. We don't think it's suitable for play to earn game at all. Not to mention, the lack of decentralization is gonna make the project subject to things such as price manipulation, security, and it's just like the concentration of power. What happened when once day that those developers decide to turn off the server? What you're gonna do? Yeah, there's nothing you can do. So yeah, that is a problem that I think play to earn game need to find a way to solve as well. So, and is everything okay so far, Laga, or anyone in our audience?
Yeah, so far I totally agree with you. Like centralized games I think the developers have too much power over it, and they can control the game like wherever it goes. And that's why I
Yeah,
really believe in decentralization. Is giving power back to the people and to the community. And I think they're the best in leading the project and reshaping the project into something that's really actually beneficial for the long-term perspective.
yeah, absolutely. Like even though they have like NFT and own that, but what if they just change the start of that NFT? You know, so there's nothing you can do, right?
Exactly.
So that is the second problem, the fundamental problem that we see from on the existing play to earn game in the market right now. And the last one, and also I think is the one that causing a lot of pain right now to the actual players, is that the lack of fair distribution and fair launch. I'm not sure you guys familiar with this, but most play to earn games normally they will raise money through like seeding round and like and then IDO, right? And what they do is that they will gather a lot of like private investor, VC venture capital in the earlier round. They sell those early token to them with really cheap price. And then when they list a token on some decentralized exchange or centralized exchange, uh, normally the price would go up instantly by like 5 or 10 times. Uh, and and that's how all the early investor and VC capital make money from um, play to earn games. And that's why like I during last year I have seen some project, right, they have nothing at all, not even a playable demo, and they still manage to raise like millions of dollars because the investor, they don't care if the project is gonna become playable, become a real reality or not, right? Because they managed to get the token really cheap, and the moment they got it, they're gonna sell. And who gonna buy those tokens? The players, right? The actual players who gonna play the game, who gonna invest, who gonna build a community, who gonna create actual value to the games, are those who suffer, are those who lose money. And that's to me is a really problem with play to earn game. But of course, I'm not saying I'm not like discredit money from venture capital or early investor, because certainly they bring a lot of value to the industry. But at the same time, it's just not fair to the small guy, the actual players who want to play the game and like earn like $10 or $20 a day. That's all they want to do, and they end up with losing their entire investment, and that's not fair. Uh, so um, so that is the lack of fair distribution. Some people get the token for a really cheap price and then just dump on the market, and this we call it the first mover advantage. That's why like play to earn game. Everyone is jump on play to earn game last year because it's so easy to raise millions of dollars. It
Yeah.
was just so easy. And yeah, so right now when the bear markets comes, everyone dumping the token, even the venture capital, the moment they got the token, they will just sell it because it's a bear market. That's what they have to do, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so those three problems, right, with the endless supply of tokens, the lack of centralization, transparency, and the lack of the fair distribution, coupled together, is that's why I think some of the existing project right now, even the biggest one, they're not gonna last because there's no way they can recover the price of their token, and that's why a lot of the project gonna fail. So those are the three problems with the existing market, play-to market right now.
Right.
Oh, we have Sabaku here. Hey, happy birthday, man! Today is Sabaku birthday, so happy birthday.
Happy birthday, man.
All right, so let's. So with Amakuni, right, we want to build something different. We want to be able to fix those problem, existing problem with the play to earn genre, right? We want to build a sustainable in-game economy. We we want to be as decentralized as possible, and we want to have a distribution model that is, fair to everyone. So first is that Amakuni will have a fixed token supply. Our utility token, the Kuni tokens, is going to have a supply of 21 millions, and we have a formula that will determine the supply of the token. So basically, it will get less and less every day. Eventually, the total circulating supply will kind of approach 21 millions. We have the math formula here, but we also have a lot of math formula on our white paper. If you are interested in math, you guys can take a look. So this makes our Kuni token supply is predictable, and we also have like game difficulty automatically adjusted to make sure that there's no short inflation of the Kuni tokens and other in-game assets as well.
Mm.
So that's our first solution for the first problem, which is we try to make the in-game economy sustainable with a fixed token supply. The second thing is that all the core earning functionality of Amakuni is going to be entirely on-chain, right? We're going to publish our smart contract. You can read through the contract and see how it's work. But everything is going to be fully transparent, trustless, and that means the player can can kind of see everything how it's work behind the scene, and combined with the ability with the NFT, right? All the craftable items, you can turn them into NFT as well. All the in-game assets can be NFT as well. And the entire game is on-chain, and we think our game is going to be the first one that give all the player actually a full control over the in-game assets.
Mm.
So decentralization, right? We're not going to be centralized like other games. And last but not least is that we're not gonna have any sort of like speed round or ideal or pre-allocation, nothing like that. We're gonna have a fair lot and fair distribution model. So the more you play the game, the more of the Kuni token you're gonna earn. The more you contribute to the game, to the community, the more the token you're gonna earn. So, and that's just how it's works, because we want to incentivize the value creation for Amakuni, not just for those who invested in early. Those who create more values will be rewarded more, and that's what we want to do.
This is something that
So
I
yeah,
really like about Amakuni, Tony. Sorry for interrupting. It's
yeah,
like
go ahead, man.
you don't give the VCs, the venture capitals, all the power to buy the tokens for the cheapest price and then dumping on the first coming investors. That's what I've seen in a lot of crypto projects and a lot of play to earn projects as well. And it's just a little small circle of venture capitals working together just to they don't care about the project, they don't care about the community. All they care about is about making money. So, and this is like one of the main reasons why I love what I love about Amakuni, why I personally invest in this project is like the NFT buyers, they're the only ones um who will get the tokens for the cheapest price. So it means the players, the investors in themselves. So you won't get dumped by big VCs, venture capitals who have millions and who have money to lose. So this
Mhm.
is one of the reason why I'm really looking forward to the launch of this project and see how it develops, because I haven't seen any other project doing that. All they care about is about money and tokens and whatever, and I haven't seen any venture capital, like honest venture capital, who has high ethical standards to invest in a project just to help them out and develop something for the long run for the community. All they do is like get the tokens, buy it for the cheapest price, and then when it launches, it already 2x or 10x sometimes, and then they just dump on the people, and then they just leave and repeat it over and over again. So I hope Amakuni is gonna make a big change in this, and hopefully it's gonna benefit the players, and hopefully we can make a difference in the play to earn scene.
Yeah, that's what I hope as well. So that's why we try to address all the existing like pain point of the play to earn market, and we try to solve it. And yeah, um, so yeah, those are the three, I think, the key foundation of block what make cryptocurrency and the blockchain technology so valuable, and we want to kind of build Amakuni based on those principles, right? Sustainability, decentralization, and just a fair, large and fair distribution, fairness, and yeah, and how you can earn from using Amakuni. And I'm sure if you guys all of our NFT holders are aware of this, because we also have this in our first version of the pitch deck as well. So you can either like do crafting and sell those items to on our marketplace. You can like play with your NFT characters, make them more powerful to increase the value of your NFT, or you can actually do battle and earn from the result of those battle as well. Those are three ways that you can earn. And on other things, I think it's quite. We just reuse some of the information from the first version of pitch deck. So I'm not gonna go through this. Let me see. This is the material production. I'm sure you guys know this. The land. I'm sure the marketplace is. I'm sure everyone see the marketplace already is already online. And we talked about the scholarship portal, I think in the last AMA already. So this is somewhere that we want a built-in like scholarship portal to connect with connect the NFT holders and the scholars, the players who don't own our NFT. And by playing the game, then the NFT holders will have the passive income, but at the same time, the scholars will accumulate like experience point and level up as well. And they will, the higher level that they get, the more of an advantage that they will have within the game. So, and also, of course, where our game Amakuni is going to be accessible and expandable, because since we have a fixed token supply, player don't earn the token directly. So we can expand the gameplay through different means on different platform, even on different game as well, and even game like from our partner or from the community. It doesn't have to be from us. So we want to build an entire ecosystem that is expandable and accessible to everyone. And this is just the list of things that we have done already. And I think this is going to be something that you guys most interested in, because we have updated our roadmap. So now we're going to aim to launch the first public alpha of Amakuni in the third quarter of this year, along with the scholarship portal as well. And by the end of this year, we're going to launch the game, right, on PC and on web. So we have shortened our timeline quite significantly. If you guys remember the last roadmap that we have, so
Yeah.
now we will revise it we cut out a lot of features that we deem not like the not the core features of Amakuni. We only keep the core features of Amakuni now. So that's why we managed to kind of like cut the timeline quite a bit, and hopefully, and I'm sure that we can meet this timeline and have the game up and playable by the third quarter of this year, so people can start coming in and test out the game and give us feedback. So yeah, I think that's it for our new and updated pitch deck. So the problem with the current market, our solution, and the new roadmap. So if anyone have any question for us, feel free to type in the chat.
Yeah, we have some questions from Lisa, Nate, and Ihab Wafa. Shall I read it out?
Yes, please.
All right. The first question of Lisa: what is your biggest obstacle? Many projects look great only on their white paper and roadmap, but face many difficulties when trying to implement the project mission and end in failure. How does Amakuni overcome every obstacle in its project development?
Well, we're still in our development, so there still be like unforeseen, like obstacle, I'm sure, ahead of us. But I think what makes us different from other project is that all other project, if you observe all of the other project, during the previous bull run of 2021, they are all the same. They all copy Axie Infinity, the same formula. And now, most recently, like people start jumping on the move to earn trend. I'm not sure if it's going to be a sustainable trend or not, but there's a lot of move to earn project nowadays. And the problem with that, when you copy something, is, well, there's it, it's not going to be, I don't know, if you copy something that for example, like when you see on the other play to earn game that copy Axie Infinity, right? And even Axie Infinity is not doing so well right now. Then of course, all the other clone gonna fail, right? Because they copy the wrong things. They copy the model that is unsustainable. Then of course, Axie Infinity, I'm sure it's gonna be fine because they have a lot of money, right? They wouldn't be fine. But for all other projects, the smaller guys that copy them, they're gonna fail. So, but first, we approach our product from a different angle, from a different perspective, right? When we see the problem in the market, the solution, we all of us, we want to solve the problem with Amakuni instead of copying other projects. And I think that is what really differentiates us from other projects. I'm not sure if we're gonna be successful or we're gonna fail. I can say for certain because that's the problem with doing something that's so different that no one ever done before. But this is something that me and all other team members I believe in, and we're gonna do our best to complete the project and see if it's something that the market gonna accept or not.
All right. So yeah, that's like we never know beforehand if it's gonna succeed or not. But I think like when I personally did my research on this project, I've looked in so many projects out there since 2019, and I've seen that AMAKUNI is, first of all, they're transparent with their identity. That's what I love about them, and also their history when it comes to game development. They have a lot of experience in developing games and so on. So they're all technicians. So and yeah, and the fact that they are also like constantly updating the people with like live streams and new pitch decks, new information, new sneak peeks, how they develop the game, the token circulating supply. That that really gives me like a lot of good indications that this project is going to do things different, and they have thought things out. Why they're going to make this decentralized? Why the token is going to be limited to 21 million? Why? Because we already we already have seen the problems that other projects have have not succeeded in. So that's one of the main reason they want to do things different and have a different approach of it. And at the end, we can never know what the future is gonna hold for us. So all we can do is try and make things different and constantly update the game. And that's one of the main reasons why we keep you guys updated, so you guys can also give your feedback back to us, so we can implement it into the game. Eventually, it's gonna be a people's project. So I hope it answered your question, Lisa. Next question of Nate Key. Most NFT games currently suffer low player base due to expensive initial costs for new player to take part in a game. How does Amakuni attracts large group of players? Can you talk some of its features which make it different from others?
Right. So first and foremost, our game is I don't think it's expensive to start Amakuni. You can start with one NFT, which right now I think the price is around like less than $100, and you can start. And but if you don't have like the initial capital to invest in Amakuni, you can go through our scholarship portal and rent one of the NFT from one of the NFT holders. So it's like you can start with like no initial investment at all, right? And not to mention, our game is going to be on the BNB chains, so it's the transaction fee is going to be much cheaper than on Ethereum. And so yeah, so that is and how does Amakuni gonna attract a large group of players? This is something that we already have some sort of like plan for this. Once the game is launched, we're gonna start our marketing. Not like we're not gonna super focus. Like, I mean, we're not gonna spend too much money into marketing at the current state in the market, because during a bear market, it's no amount of money gonna attract players. It's gonna be very hard. But instead, we're gonna start the moment we have a playable demo. We're gonna start talking to all the game guild and to introduce them to Amkuni, and then try to get their members onto the game as well. So that is gonna be I think our main chance to get new players, like a large group of players into Amakuni during this bear market. And the features, I think I just mentioned the built-in scholarship portal that help to connect the NFT holders with the scholars, and that's something we're gonna have built in. It's gonna be decentralized. Well, we have a smart contract for that, so it's completely transparent and it's just it's safe, and yeah. So that is something I haven't seen. I think Axie Infinity don't have a scholar portal, but only a few games have. But we're gonna have that as well. So I hope that answer your question, Nat Key.
All right, another question of Ihab Wafa. He said many play to earn game projects have sprung up in the crypto industry. Will your game include any online or multiplayer competitions where players can compete against each other? If you have a referral program planned or ongoing, can you explain how we can participate?
Sure, of course. So yeah, I'm just gonna switch back to the pitch deck on slide 17, so you can see. So basically, first, the referral program, we don't have one right now. The moment we have one, we will publish it and for people to join. And on the first question, you have include any online or multiplayer competition where players can compete against each other. We will have that. But I think the first version is gonna be just like sort of is it's not gonna be complex because the reason our game is gonna be entirely on chain, right? So it's quite difficult to have like real-time multiplayer games that entirely on chains. We will have some sort of multiplayer features, but our goal is like to have like a separate, a completely different version of the game that have this multiplayer using the centralized server that integrate into our ecosystem. If you guys take a look at the slide 17, that's what I said here. Like we can expand our ecosystem and the AMAKUNI metaverse through like different platform, different type of game, different technology, even centralized technology as well. But that is going to be just like an add-on, extra features. All our core earning features is going to be on chains. But once we have that, we can always build like extra features on top of those foundations. And those extra features, it can be multiplayer, it can be like even like I don't know, like a strategy game even. It can be like a free to earn game, it can be a skin based game, whatever, right? But where we are right now is that we are building the foundation, right? The entire economy, everything's going to be on chains. So and in the futures, once that is done, we can start thinking about what we can build on top of that foundation. I hope I explained that clearly. If not, just let me know. I can go through that again.
Another question of DK. Do you have any plan to boost the marketing to get mass user adoption in the near future? What is your plan to get more exposure from players and investors in the short and long term?
Well, right now in the near futures, to be honest, right now we don't have any sort of like big marketing plan for the near futures. We still like doing like looking for project to do collab. I think we're gonna have one collaboration like partnership announcement pretty soon. We still finalize some of the details. Yeah, but we're not gonna do any big marketing in the near futures. The reason is because we are in the bear market, right? There's just no amount of money. It's gonna, like, like, it's gonna make the investor and new player less fearful of the bear market. So it's best that we wait and focus on building Amakuni, instead of waiting resource on marketing, at least at this stage. And our plan to get more exposure in for the long term is first is doing through collaboration, working with other communities, that also have the play to earn audience, and we will work with game guilds to introduce Amakuni to their members as well, to their scholars. I think those are going to be the true two main chance of us for us to getting new players into Amakuni.
Can I add something to that, Tony?
Sure, man. Sure.
Like the question that you asked, DK, is really important. Like I understand that marketing is one of the big factors and drivers of a successful project. We have seen on the NFT space that if you hype a project out, it doesn't matter if you have any finished product or not. It's going to make a lot of millions for you. That's what hype is doing in this current stage of the market, and we don't want that for this project to happen. Why? Because we want to finish the project first, the product, the end product, so you can see and visualize everything before you, and then we can do marketing for the project. So basically, what I mean here is like a good project does marketing by itself. So if you guys like the game, if you guys like everything, how everything is working on the BNB chain, and if you can make an earning and make a living of it, it's people are gonna talk about it naturally. And I think like that's one of the best marketing strategy that you can do is to, like, put the money into the project and let it do self marketing. And then at the end, we're going to do some collabs like behind the scenes. We're working on that with other successful game projects to increase more awareness and uh, yeah, let's fuse the community together and grow our player base naturally instead of just by hyping things up and then eventually people getting disappointed after the hype dies out. We don't want that. We're focusing on long term perspective, and that's also one of the main reasons why our token is also fixed supply. So in the long run, it will be harder to gain more Kuni tokens. It's just like Bitcoin. You know, it's really hard to gain more Bitcoin these days. Like back in the days, you would get 50 Bitcoins for mining one block. It was easy. If you would fill in a CAPTCHA on a website, you would get Bitcoins for free. That's basically how it worked. But later on, as we're developing like in the whole digital industry, we can see that it's really hard to obtain one Bitcoin right now. And it's just the same what's going to happen with the Kuni token. It's the longer it lasts, the harder it will get. So all you got to do is like be patient and just gather it as much as you can. I hope that answers your question. So Ferry, he has another question. Too many project promise magic but never release any working product or prove any revenue within a short or long-term time of release. Is your project also like this? If not, can you tell us what makes your project different from other projects?
Well, I think what makes us different, we just went through that during the PITCHDECK, which is first is that we gonna have a fixed supply, a sustainable game economy. We're gonna be entirely decentralized, and we're gonna have a fair launch and fair distribution of our tokens. So that's what makes difference. And and yeah, and of course, I mean, our project is if you check our sneak peek chance, you can see all the update progress, in-game footage, you know, like in development footage that we post. So to show the community that we're constantly working on AMAKUNI, and so yeah, I think that was an easy question, but thank you, Barry.
All right. If you guys have any other questions, just type it in the general chat. We're gonna have a look to the questions. Um, Also, one of the questions that I had for you, Tony, is wait. Let me put my cat down. Um,
Mm.
is what made you start this project? Like at the beginning stage of Amakuni, before everything was created, the Discord and so on. What was your first thought before you started to create this project with your whole team?
Well, to be to be honest with you, Amaguni started. It's just because I think is for all of us. We all want something that that can make different. I myself, I've been a game developer that for like almost like 14 years now. So when I see something as the like cryptocurrency and NFT, is I think it's just the perfect match for video games because you can play the games, you can have a good time, and but at the same time you kind of get something back for your time and your investment as well. It's just the perfect combination. So yeah, and it's just makes so much sense to us. That's why we wanted to do something. It's not like we have the entire idea for the game and the story and everything at the beginning. It started with this. It's the technology and the idea is just so cool and so perfect for us. You play game and you make money. Yeah, I mean, you make a living. It's just
All right.
so that's why we start like brainstorming and come up with an idea, and eventually it's end up with with Amakuni.
Right. Yeah, it's basically like just creating something that we all been wishing for. Just making your
Yeah,
wish come into reality. Yeah, I understand.
yeah.
Um,
So
all right. Some other questions that we have is: have you thought of the positive sides of a decentralized play to earn game, and have you also thought of the negative sides of a decentralized play to earn game?
I think um, I think the positive side of a decentralized product is that it's trustless.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys don't have to trust us. You guys don't have to trust anything. It's just work, right?
Right.
And the moment and it also give the community, the players, a lot of leverage because
Mm.
everything is on chains. If something from us that come out and people, the community don't like, they always have the option to opt in something else that's still using the same like Amakuni access because everything is on chains, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's fully
So
transparent.
it give the players and the communities a lot of a voice, right?
Mm-hmm.
And also and so that is for me one of the big like advantage of centralized technologies and centralized games. I'm sorry, decentralized game. But
Mm.
one of the disadvantages is that it's actually quite difficult to design a game like this because as we all know, there's a lot of limitation right now with the blockchain technologies. So that's why when we design the game, we need to kind of find a lot of workaround to kind of make it work with the current limitations, and that is one of the challenges that we we have to face. And since this is something new and this is something that never been done before, we have nothing to compare to. So that is one of the challenges that we have. But I think that we managed to get something that actually make quite a lot of sense to us. And hopefully, once it comes out, you guys will like it too.
All right. I hope so. I'm really looking forward to the game, man. Um, do you think people will use bots in order to farm the tokens? What effect will it have on the game and the economy?
Well, of course, people will use bot. It's inevitable. Like even in traditional game, without the financial incentive,
Mm-hmm.
there's tons of bots. You know, so when it comes to play to earn, it's not a problem that's solvable. Uh, mm, I
Mm.
don't, at least from my perspective, I don't think it's a problem that's solvable. Have you seen those bot farm in move to earn game?
Oh, I haven't. No. Move to earn game.
They Yeah, or on the run to earn, move to earn, whatever.
Yeah.
They can use bot to farm those.
Oh, damn.
Uh, yeah. So and how the actual player gonna manage gonna compete with that, right? So
Exactly.
but when we design Amakuni, that is something that we have a lot of discussion among our team. And we think instead of trying to fight bots, we need to find a way to kind of live with it.
Yeah,
Uh, that's
exactly.
why that's why one of the benefit in actually playing the game is that you can actually kind of optimize. I mean, you can actually optimize your gameplay so you can earn the most amount of neo point as possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that will actually give you the benefit. But at the same time, we will release our official tool so you guys can actually play like a bot if you want to, right? The bot
Oh,
is
right.
gonna come from us. We're gonna release it for you guys,
Uh,
right?
okay, you're
So
gonna
so
just
you
make it
guys don't
easy
have
for us. Yeah.
to. Yeah, you guys don't have to worry about some kind of sneaky code. You guys download off the internet, nothing like that. We will release the official bot for you guys to play,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
since it's not solvable, why not embrace it? So
Exactly.
if you
True.
guys have you, so if for the players who want the actual experience of playing the game, you guys feel free to play the games. You guys still have some sort of advantage. You can optimize your formation, the strategy, and all that to make sure that like gain the most points as possible. And if you guys don't have time, just take advantage of the bot if you want.
Yeah. True. Understandable. Instead of fighting it, why don't you just welcome it and make it for the people?
Yeah, because
That's a good way. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we release our official bot,
Mm.
so that means you don't have to worry about some scammy bot and steal your money.
Mm-hmm. All right. Could you tell us big challenges you faced during the development of this project? Like, what is the biggest challenge you faced while creating this project?
Uh, I think I touched on that a little, like in the previous question, but
Mm.
for us, it's really because this is something that we haven't seen done before.
Mm-hmm.
So we have no like reference that we can compare ourselves to, which is make it's quite interesting. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
say like difficult. It's more like an interesting challenge for us to
Mm-hmm.
solve. And I think that is one of the uh, like biggest challenge that we have faced right now, because the initial design of AMAKUNI is much more complex. It's much like traditional games.
Right.
It can cost players a lot of transaction fee,
Mm-hmm.
even on BNB chains. So that's why we have to kind of redo the game design a lot and to kind of reduce the scope and to have something that like practical and it's not too expensive for people to play.
Right. Okay. Okay. This question is done. What do you think will be the next trigger for the next boom market in general, and also for the NFT cycle?
Um, I think just not just today, but last week, I read
Mm-hmm.
a really interesting article from Arthur Hay. Arthur Hay, the founder of BitMEX,
Yeah.
and he wrote this article about the doom loop theory, and
Okay.
it is something that he think is gonna happen, and it's gonna be the event that take Bitcoin to $1 million. I'm not
Okay.
sure I'm agree with that entirely, but
Mm-hmm.
uh, to me, I mean, right now the entire financial market, not just cryptocurrency, is under the control of the Fed,
Right.
the FED, right? So,
Yeah.
and with the recent, inflation number that on the America up to 9.1%, I'm sure they're
Yeah.
gonna keep, raise the interest rate, which is not good for for everyone. But
Mm-hmm.
eventually, right? Eventually, they will. They're gonna have to reduce the interest rate, and the moment that happens,
True.
it's gonna trigger the next bull run. And
I
uh,
yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I also think like when they lower the interest rate, they also need to like print more money, quantitative easing to keep the economy alive, and that's what I think is gonna trigger the next bull run market. Yeah.
Yeah, my guess they're gonna try to do the QT, the quantitative tightening. Like they're gonna try to do that within by the end of this year, and then after that, they cannot sustain that level of interest for much longer. I don't think so. But that's
Yeah.
just my guess. Right? That's just my guess.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
All right. We covered most of the questions. All the other ones were also like answered in the other questions, so I'm happy with that. Let's look at the general chat. Okay. Azir said the Kuni and AMA token is a both governance token. No.
No, the Kuni token is still the utility tokens. The AMA token is the that is something that we will make announcement later on, right? Because initially we want to build a sidechain, the Amatsu sidechains, and to have the game on that sidechains. But since right now we're gonna do our game is gonna be on BNB chains because we want to focus on the game. We want to focus on building the actual game and the in-game economy first. Make sure that it's work first, and later on we're gonna do the transition to onto our Amatsu blockchain later on. So right now we only focus on the Kuni tokens, the AMA tokens. We will make the announcement sometime later, maybe after the game has been released.
Okay. Another question. The last question of Lisa. She said, non-crypto